I just happened to get a letter. They say like, yo, we gonna what they call it, like seize your property if you don't pay this, and
put a lien on it.
I didn't even know you had to pay property taxes on a house that you had paid cash for.
Yeah, like I already paid for it.
Keep in mind at this time, bro, I got 10, 15 houses. I didn't pay cash for that I done had for 4, 5 years that I never paid property taxes on because I didn't know.
So back to what I was saying.
What's up, friends, family, and fans? Welcome to the Mysterious Boys podcast, where you can't see our eyes, so you don't really know what we're thinking. Welcome to L.I.F.E on podcast. This is where we listen and inspire friends and entertainments.
And everywhere,
Because life happens to everyone mysteriously. I'm your co-host, Stone Stafford.
That's your boy, Johnny Vaughn. What's goody?
What is goody? Hey, do us a quick favor. If you've returned here before, you've watched us and listened to us before, please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. Turn on your notifications if you haven't done so already.
Wait a minute. I got to gripe with you.
Important thing on the share thing, though.
I hate you so much for this.
You hate when I do it.
Because you be like, do us a favor. And I'd be like,
but it is a favor.
Well, you could just, no. But when I do the little thing, so you can say like and subscribe, click the button. You always add something else in there so it doesn't line up when I do the clicky thing. All the time.
Oh,
you just,
like
you just say, do us a favor. No. Just when you say, do us a favor, like and subscribe. If you just say it when I do the thing.
But I didn't notice your hands are so small. I didn't even notice.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, somebody was like, yeah, Stone, get him.
Size 13, no. What up?
All right. Okay.
No, that's just a little thing.
Now that I know you'll be doing that, I'll make sure I go.
I'm not gonna do it no more now.
Like, subscribe, and then look. Share, and then look. All right. I know y'all like, can y'all get to it?
There we go. My bad.
We appreciate it.
I be thanking and griping. That's all. Yeah, thank y'all so much for real though.
We appreciate it. So, I was watching a clip this week. Yo Gotti. First of all, Yo Gotti's doing a lot.
Yo Gotti's always been doing a lot.
He's doing a lot. But he was mentioning how this dude owns 15 houses. And he ain't paid no taxes on them for 5 years. No property taxes. Now, I gripe at the property tax on Icon. I gripe on the property tax on my house.
I gripe on the property taxes on my house too.
Right. But now having 15 of those. 5 years in arrears. I'm like, bruh, like, how are you even still breathing? How did you not sell your oxygen to pay for that? Like, seriously. I'm like, God, like, and of course, the way my mind works, I'm just like, what is it with these people when they get successful? Like, I mean, how many we've heard over and over and over again, tax, first of all, tax is usually the number one thing that hits folks.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you still have that problem? How many horror stories do you have to hear about before you realize that when you come into money, that's not going to happen to me? And then you take all the steps necessary for it not to happen to you. But people don't seem to learn their lessons.
There's a difference in hearing what can happen to you and experiencing it firsthand. And that's
but that
I hear you, I feel you, but that's because it happened to me. Like I heard the same thing early in my career when I first got into radio. Radio contracts weren't what they used to be when I got in, but my first one was nice. And we talked about the first time I hit six figures,
right?
That story
when you were like 12.
I was 19.
I was like close to it.
I was 19, but I all that time I had been hearing, set aside 20%, do all of this. And the first thing I did when I got the first big check of that year is I
tried to buy a Lambo or something like that.
No, that was later. Oh, okay. No, I took my wife to the force.
Excuse me, that was later.
that was later.
Still has yet to be for some of us.
No, the Lambo.
At 19, that was later. I sound like Zach Zellner.
But see, the Lambo story was even something that was just a I don't do things for myself kind of deal, and that would have actually been a tax benefit though, because like we were talking about earlier, it meets the weight requirements. Right. I would have been using it for certain, so I actually would have benefited from that. But that was just something I hadn't done it for myself, and I was like, I need to do something stupid. But then right before I did it,
I've never
we got pregnant, so that went out the window quick.
Say I need to do something stupid. It's fun. Look, if you are that kind of person where you're like, I need to do something stupid, but you deserve whatever happens.
That plays into this whole thing of how people miss that connection with it, because I didn't set aside money for my taxes that year, and where I messed up at is I allowed my dad to claim me on his taxes that year when I made that amount of money, and it ended up costing me so much because I showed up as a dependent, so I couldn't write off everything that I normally would have been able to write off. Exactly. So my dad got a lot of money back, and I ended up paying back double what he got back because of me being a dependent. So it's one of those things that until you see that amount of money, it doesn't register. So you can hear it all day long, but you're not gonna take care of it until you actually get kicked in the face with it.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening with people that come into it.
That still makes me call you stupid.
I mean,
and you know, it is what it is. Like reading the stuff I'm reading now and learning what I'm reading now, I don't even cut myself any slack. Okay. I was like, I was just dumb because this is stuff my mom has been trying to get me to do and read and all this kind of stuff all these years. So sometimes it is one of the things where that's why I say experience is the best teacher, because sometimes experience is the only thing we listen to.
Absolutely.
We're trying to help y'all not be those kind of people.
Learn from somebody else's mistakes, please.
What can we say? So when I was looking at that, and of course it just had me think about everyone that's trying to be in the music business, entertainment in general. Obviously you want to be successful. But do you truly think you're ready for success? And anyone who says they are, I believe and don't believe you. The reason why, actually, that's not true. I don't believe you for two reasons.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I understand the split, so there's no believing.
No, there's no believing. So whenever you say you're ready for success, you're like, I am ready. I'm like, I don't believe you twice. Okay. All right? Because the first time I don't believe you is because if you haven't been successful, you don't know the stuff that comes with it. It takes me to a conversation I had with my sister Janelle. We were talking about, dating, and, right now she's dating or she's single and stuff, and complaining about how hard the dating scene is and how crazy it is and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I love dating. I said, if God forbid, if something were to happen to me and Tyson and I was single right now, I would love dating. And she was like, you don't know that. And of course, that just rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, how you going to tell me what I don't know? When I was single, I loved dating, and I would love dating now. I said, don't go down the road of it's just different. The mind frame's different. I said, I understand that it's more ballsy now, and it's way more, what's a good word for it? Way more debaucherous now. But I understand a lot of that kind of stuff has changed. I said, one, at the end of the day, men are still women, women are still women. I realize now we have a whole lot of mixture of all that crap. Did you just say
men are still women, women are still women?
Men are still, I meant to say men are still men, women are still women. Okay. But if I said men are still women, I wouldn't be wrong. Right now. So look, I'm not dumb and naive to how a lot of the climate has changed. Sure. But I know that I would love dating. So we started going back and forth, and her friend Tish was there. I was like, well, I don't think you would. And seeing people swear to God. And here's the thing. And she was like, her whole thing was, how can you say unequivocally that you would enjoy dating when you're not dating? Right. So she was being very technical about it.
And that's what
I was like, okay, I get it. And that's why I'm saying, if I asked someone, do you think you can stand success? And they would be like, yes. I'd be like, well, how do you know when you quite literally aren't living a successful life? Because there are things that come with it that you only experience when you're that. Right. So I get what she was saying.
Exactly. You had to actually experience, you had to apply your knowledge from something else to that scenario.
Well, yeah.
Whatever.
But let's use the analogy to where success is concerned. So it's a double no for me. So if I ask someone, do you think you can stand success or handle success? And it's for the reason we just went back and forth on. It's hard for you to say you can if you've never been there, right? And then two is, and I forgot my double with all that, because it was too, but a lot of it. Oh my God. Yeah, but a lot of it.
Cover it?
But a lot of it is going to really center around that first one. It's hard for you to say until you've gotten there.
Because originally you said, I believe you and I don't believe you.
I know.
And then you said it turned into I don't believe you twice.
So the reason why, so let's go back to why I was leaning towards saying I believe you.
I'm interested in that.
Because I believe you understand, because there's a difference between understanding and experience, right?
No question, absolutely.
So I believe you understand what comes with success, the good and the bad. But you can't truly say, yes, I can handle it like we just said, until you're in it.
Okay. So I have a slightly different take, and it could be on a lesser scale because of the percentage of how it happens this way. There are people that I have come in contact with that have been able to say,
"Oh, I know it." Sorry. Go ahead.
No. Let's just do that before you forget it. I don't want that.
You already know
let's
me.
Do it. Let's just, before, yeah.
So the first one is an unconscious incompetence.
Okay.
That I just said.
Right.
Where you can't know because you've never been in it. Mm-hmm. The second one, the reason why I say no, I don't believe you twice, is I'm looking at what you're doing now. Okay. Before you become successful.
Yeah.
You're not even doing the things that you need to
do.
Well, we're going to assume you're doing the things you need to do to become successful, but you're not doing the things you need to do to handle that success when it comes.
Yeah.
So that's why I would give a double no to a lot of people.
This is one of the things that I always had an issue with, and I'll get back to what I was saying in a second, but that I had an issue with, like with The Secret and people just saying,
right.
Feel the vibration,
and
do the things you need and get into the mindset of what you would feel when you have it. It's not so much even that. Until you start doing the things to maintain it before it gets there,
you get there.
Can't get. Oh, it's dang. So my bad.
So we never use the word work.
Yeah, right.
In The Secret.
Yeah.
In manifesting.
Exactly.
In setting your intentions.
Yeah.
We forget the work part.
Right. Exactly. And that's the biggest thing. It's when I see people that may not have what they're shooting for, but they're doing all the things that are required to maintain what they're trying to get. Okay. I respect those people's grind a little bit more than just the people that are doing, because it's not, I mean, the networking part of some stuff is important to getting there.
Right.
But the rehearsal, the practice, the constant production.
Then you got to work the net.
Exactly. All of that stuff is what's necessary to maintain it. So I think doing the stuff to maintain is what's more so important than even doing the stuff to get it.
So what I wanted to do, I wanted to touch on a couple of things that people may underestimate or don't consider.
Okay.
That come with success, right? One of them is going to be your relationships. Mm-hmm. Okay. We all hear how your network is your net worth, and you are, or your future is going to be a mirror of the 5 closest friends around you and all that stuff. I like how Magic Johnson said it one time. He said he has friends and family who come at him with like business deals and stuff all the time. Yeah. And some of them get offended, when he says no, or be like, oh man, you changed and this and that. And he was like, you're right, I have changed. He says, I'm on a level now where the deals that I do are on the level that I'm on. So if I'm a big deal, I do big deals. Right. And people underestimate that. And that can be hard. That can be hard for a lot of people to swallow.
I love the fact that we always try to remain accountable. So I'm going to be transparent with this. Me and my wife just had a conversation 2 days ago about this exact thing. Both me and my wife are both small business owners. We own a business together as well. She started to scale her business up really, really fast a few years ago. I thought it was too fast. Wasn't my spot to say anything. And she managed to pull some stuff off that I was just like, that was dangerous. I'm glad but boy, if it would have not, right. Been some stuff. Right. So I'm glad you believed harder than I did. But now, because she's scaled up, when you do that, and this is one of the things that I think that comes with the whole success thing, is, are you ready for it? The bigger you get, the bigger the problems become. And she scaled to a point where, and she's admitted this, she didn't put the infrastructure in completely to manage the new scale that she got into. And when we were just talking a couple of days ago about, solutions to some of these new problems, her solutions were retro. They were backwards. And I was like, hey, we're going to stop that right now. Right. Because we don't have a $20,000 problem no more. This is a $150,000, $200,000, $250,000 problem, and $20,000 solutions ain't gonna fix this. So you got to stop thinking about that right now. Like, and it was one of those conversations like where we accountability between the two of us. It was like I was like, all right, I already know that's not a good idea because it's gonna come up short. You need to. This is what you stepped into. So now you have to start filling this. It's the Parkinson's law thing. You got to fill this space that you're allotting now. You got to grow to that space. You can't be the guppy trying to fill the ocean anymore at that point. And she nodded. She's like, no, I see it. and immediately started kind of brainstorming bigger ideas to solve new problems. And I was like, "That now we're here."
And that's why I brought go ahead.
No, that's
that's why I brought the Yo Gotti thing. Because,
absolutely.
Like the cost of success is real.
Yeah.
You know, and the you can have more, you can do more, you can be more, but your responsibility is going to be more.
Absolutely. Your overhead generally tends to grow. And I'm speaking financially when I speak overhead now.
Right, sure.
Just expenses in general tend to grow as you expand in general. And that's what people run into is when you balloon that, you focus so much on the fun and the having aspect of it as opposed to the maintaining aspect.
Now, the opportunities to save more grow as well.
No
but if you're going back to my 2 no's, if you're not prepared or educated on what those opportunities are, be it your tax shelters, be it your trust or whatever it is to do with that money and stuff, like Yo Gotti and billions before him, you know what I mean? You're going to suffer the cost of becoming successful. So.
Now, we never got to mine because I shifted out of it. But the one that I did have, that's the reason why I see that being possible, is I've watched people get groomed into success. You see parents of Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 companies, they give their kids these high-level jobs at 21 years old. And are they ready for it? Absolutely not. But because they're being hand-guided through the process, it becomes their normal.
Sure.
And if that's what you grow up into, so I mean, you see it with child stars all the time, like child actors and child singers who were in the industry. They have a je ne sais quoi about them as adults that some other adults don't have because they came up in what you got into as an adult. So that polish, that professionalism, that knowing, that experience is just there. So there are some people, and I think it's rarer than the others what we're talking about. You're probably going to be an outlier. You're going to be one of the ones that is in the 1% of the 1% if you can say I'm one of the ones that truly is ready to handle all the things that come with success, because most of us are either going to fall into it and have to learn things as we go without guidance all the time and make some of those personal mistakes, or it's going to be one of those things where you have to build it, brick by brick, and you don't fall into it and you bump your head on the way up there. So I 100% agree with you that most of us probably cannot be believable when we say we're ready for it.
I can stand success.
It's been a couple levels that I've hit that I felt when I got there, I was like, oh, dude, this is easy. But immediately I was like, all right, if this one's easy, next level's not going to be easy. And I was right. The next level was like, what the hell is happening now? And that's one of those things. It's like, it's always going to be another level to it. So you may be fully prepared for a particular level of it. But you also have to be fully prepared to accept that you're going to be completely unprepared and utterly.
And look at how you handle adversity now. On the level that you're on. So if you have a hard time handling the ups and downs on the level you're on, just go ahead and put that on steroids.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not like you're all of a sudden going to be able to handle it. That's why they say, a lot of people say they pray for patience. And I love it. I say, all right, if you pray for patience, guess what God does? He puts you in a situation that requires patience.
How did we do this? I literally said the exact same thing to my wife the other day. I told her, I said, there were 2 virtues that I did not have growing up. I was not patient and I was not tactful. I'm still working on tact. But patience, I have mastered. To this point, and it's because of my wife and my son. I had no choice but to learn it. And she took that the wrong way initially when I said it, but I was like, you got to think about it. Everything that you want became what we want, which means what I want went over here.
Now, either your patience grew or her Jedi mind skills just went through the roof.
Could have been a combination. I could have definitely been this is not the dream you're looking for. It could have been some of that. But, in having that conversation, some clarity came in that when I told her. I was like, the number one thing that my dad told me was that I was completely impatient, and a lot of that was due to the fact that I was so successful so fast. I was always a star athlete, and then when I started a business, I had success really, really early. And when I started to experience my first bouts of failure, even those were small, and I was able to bounce back quick. But until I got married and actually had to learn how to be patient for real with dealing with somebody else's emotions and somebody else's goals and hopes and dreams and all of that stuff, I wasn't in a scenario. But I actually remember the moment when I said, all right, multiple people have said I'm impatient. I need to learn this. What do I do? How do I learn patience? And then I got married like 6 months later.
But guess what? When you're serial dating, you don't have to worry about that.
Oh my God.
But patience is like muscles, right?
Absolutely.
It's not given.
No.
It's only exercised and grown.
Yes.
So that's how you remember it. And then another part of success, when answering the question, can you stand success, is the pressure.
Yeah.
Right, the pressure and the work are going to be greater. I mean, for one, you're going to become more in demand. People are going to demand more of your time and more of you have to offer. So are you going to be able to handle that kind of pressure? And then the real pressure is everything that you do next is going to be judged by what you did before.
Yeah.
Every single time. So you're always under this pressure to be at the very least as good as you were last time. But just know people are always expecting you to be better than you were last time.
And the problem with that is sometimes you might be better than you were the last time, but the scale of what better was has shifted.
Good point.
And you might seem like you didn't outdo it just because that scale from an optics perspective isn't in the same place that it was.
That's a really good point.
And I've had that happen to me multiple times. I was like, yo, but this is so much bigger than the last thing I did. And everybody was just like, what else can you do? And I'm like, are you serious?
Yep.
I'm talking about like, this is a prime example. I produced a show. This was probably 15 years ago now. The show's budget was about $500,000. We had we had a couple of the cover bands that do the cover band circuit, and they're really good.
Tribute bands?
Yeah. And I can't remember the names of them. They were some of the high level ones. They did a dope performance. The client asked me back to produce their string of shows.
I need to put Sexual Chocolate clip right there.
Sexual Chocolate!
He's the greatest. Love
that boy good.
Inside of me. Yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
But no, during that run, I think we ended up doing 10 or 12 shows during that run.
Okay.
So, each show was $500,000 over the course of the 2 years or whatever. So it's great. I don't work with this client for 2 or 3 years, but they bring me back to do something else. I end up working on this project where this was in the time I've mentioned that I worked with Estelle. This was what came after that. Yeah. So one of the artists that I was able to bring in for performance on it was Estelle, and I ended up working that event as an engineer, but I also was coordinating it as well. And it was bigger. They raised more money. They had more notable names that were actually at the venues for each one of these performances that we did. But they were underwhelmed because they wanted bigger names. Okay. And I was like, but these names are like, I had tribute bands last time. I have an artist on this now and this had been longer than 15 years ago. And I mean, she's got records on the charts. Like, what do you, but it was looked at as lesser. Right. So when those things happen, that's when some of that insecurity and my capabilities came in. They raised more money than they did the first time. So it was all of that stuff working against me as, this was cool, but what else can you do? And I'm just like, I can't. Right. I don't want to. And I actually stepped away from it. Then I got asked back to do them again. And I was like, I'll do it in a different capacity, but I don't want to be responsible for having to produce that. Right. Because my stress in other areas is high enough. So being able to be objective of whether or not you can handle the pressures that come with that stuff is super important.
So how do you avoid it? How do we avoid the pitfalls? One, let's get clear that you can't. Yeah. So you're not going to avoid them altogether, but you can do some things that can help you deal with them a whole lot better. So one of the first things I'm going to say is surround yourself. Surround yourself with a bunch of confident no people. And when I'm saying no people, I mean you don't need a bunch of yes people. Right. Because you need people who are going to tell you when you're wrong, people who are going to tell you the hard truths, people who are going to tell you that, you're being done with this, whether or not they do it. You need a Donna. If you watch Suits, you need a Donna. Shout out to Suits. Yo, you need a Donna. If you don't know who Donna is, look it up. But yeah, so that's one of the things. The people that you have around you, your team, and you know what? I'm not saying it can't be your homies, but if they don't know, right? Not everyone's going to be a maverick.
Well, no, let's say
right. Not everyone's going to be that. But
say
this:
build a team of friends that have that type of mindset. If you can, because my friend circle, my tight, close friend circle, you included, have that type of mindset.
Right. But now that would be like the ultimate.
Exactly.
Right. But
that requires you to be hyper selective.
And half of y'all are gonna have to cut out your entire circle.
I mean,
it's full of knuckleheads.
Not so much cut it out, but tier it.
Move on the outer tier.
Yeah, tier it a little bit.
Create a new inner room.
Even hell had 7 circles. I mean,
So surround yourself with people who are confident, who know what they're doing, and who aren't just all going to be just yes men. And understand this with success too is just because you own it doesn't mean you shouldn't know how it works.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. And that's where a lot of people get in trouble, especially where their money is concerned. I hired the CPA, I hired the accountant, take care of my money for you. And you don't understand how the money really is supposed to be coming in, who's supposed to be getting paid what. Understand some of the taxes. Like, again, you don't have to know it to where you can teach it, but know it enough so that when you look at the books or when you look at what's going on, look at the schedule, you'll be able to spot that that's not right.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it's not right, but I know how it's supposed to be, and that ain't it.
Yep.
Now someone break it down to me. That around here, I tell people all the time, I said, I own it and I know it, but I can't run it, right? I have an idea on how the signal flow should go, so when the sound comes out, I know a couple of things to help get it to the monitors, but I just couldn't teach a class on that crap. I have no clue, but I do know something wrong. You see what I'm saying? So, definitely you want to know you don't have to know it, but obviously know how it's supposed to happen.
No, one of the big things you should probably do too is study some of these past stories of people who did that. My favorite ones are MC Hammer and George Foreman because hyper talented, generated a lot of money for a whole lot of people, didn't pay close attention enough to what was happening on the financial end, should still be generating high levels of revenue from residuals and everything to this day. But because they didn't, I'm not even so much Hammer. I think Hammer just allowed it to kind of happen. I think he had an understanding of it. He was just like, I trust these folks to take it, which is another thing too, is over trusting people. But but if you don't understand it at all, it's really, really easy to get taken advantage of from a financial standpoint because there are so many different vehicles and avenues and asset management techniques to hide and move and shift finances that if you don't keep an eye of it or at least understand the basics of it, you will lose track of everything and it'll set you back.
Perfect mindset for that. I hear Tasha's voice right now because God, I almost regret that she heard this one day because I swear she.
Wait, you regret she heard something?
I almost do because it's 1,000% true. But God, this woman says it so much. I'm just like, you know what? I hate that saying. Is that people don't do what you expect; they do what you inspect.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean, and that's 1,000% true.
Yes.
But I just wish I could just hear it elsewhere now. Buy a parrot. But it's true. And you said it's true, but it's true. People don't do the expect. You do the expect. I was like, I get it. I just need to put a play button on her because that's just, but that will change the way you look at things and change the way you operate.
Absolutely.
When you do understand that. And then the last thing is go in just with the mindset of knowing and accepting that every hit's not going to be a home run. I'm like, accept it, and that's not negative thinking. No. That's not setting wrong intentions. That's not having wrong expectations. As a matter of fact, some of those failures are going to be quite necessary to take you to the next level. So just go in knowing everything's not going to be a home run. And then when it isn't, make sure you learn from it. So that way now it's a value add. What?
I just had a realization that I agree with your freaking dating crap for a second.
Because I make sense. This is why I have those conversations with you, bro. Because you gotta understand, you, Tisha,
I just
sometimes Tiki to a degree. If she's not in her feelings, she's gonna be mad.
I don't like it when I genuinely owe you an apology.
Will get common sense, factual common sense. You will not argue when something is flat. And my niece Bryce. When something is just absolutely 100% just common sense, y'all have the ability to remove emotion and be like, you know what, no matter how I feel about it, you're right. And it's not about right or wrong, but what you're saying makes sense. So break it down for the folks who aren't where you are.
I'm going to apologize because over the course of however long this episode has been, I have had a light bulb moment. I am sorry that I said it was stupid. Dumb.
I think it's trash. Was trash in there?
I don't think I said trash.
But it all sounded like trash is what it sounded like.
When you just said every hit's not going to be a home run, I actually live by that. And a lot of times, sometimes you get that vibe that this deal is going to be big. This song is going to be a thing. This script is masterful. This production, all I need is the right lyrics and this is out of here. Yep. Like you get that vibe sometimes. But most of the time, we all know that I'm for the experience thing, which is why I have to attach that to that. But you just got to keep swinging and keep hitting because sometimes when you just stick the bat out there, that might turn into a triple and you was just trying to get the first.
I just heard a beat under everything you said because it's music to my ears.
Shut up.
I literally, you were talking, I said... was like, this is wonderful. This is wonderful.
Listen,
it is nice to know that you finally understand.
Well, it's not that
again, I know you like to believe. It's not that I didn't understand. But you didn't.
I just thought it was dumb.
You understood, but you didn't understand.
Well, no, I wasn't applying how I view something else to your crap.
Oh, so there was no empathy is what we're saying.
Which I said earlier. I said the same thing when you were giving an example. I said you had to apply something from another scenario to what she was saying to you about to get it. And in saying that, I didn't 40 minutes ago, I didn't do the same thing because I was actively expressing that you had to do it. So now when I had time to be retrospective, I'm able to do the same thing.
So it sounds to me this whole podcast should be titled "Without Empathy, There Can Be No Understanding." That's the whole. If that's the takeaway, I'm happy.
You
with
know
that.
what? Yeah, that actually works because if you can't empathize with the inner workings of what comes with being successful, whether it's the money, whether it's the taxes, whether it's dealing with the people, whether it's what's any of that stuff, whether it's the demand on your output, whether it's the expectation of elevation, if you can't empathize with what that feels like, then you
it is.
Understand.
And two ways you can get that empathy is one, look at others, right? But then two, just look at your own life where you are, right? And just be like, okay, how am I handling this? You know how you feel and how you feel about all that kind of stuff. So if I'm feeling like this now, can I feel like that? That's the way to put yourself in that empathetic shoe, and then realize that Stone was right when it comes to dating.
I ain't saying that because I can't even listen.
Enjoy. Oh, you're going to hear about this.
Well, no, I'm just saying I can't owe you 2 apologies for one episode. So I'm gonna shut up for the rest of this episode. I'm done.
So now that y'all are that much smarter and wiser, you don't have to thank me. It's okay. You don't have to thank me. I mean, if you want to, go ahead.
I'm sorry because now y'all got to suffer this crap because of me.
But those of you that have been wanting to just go out there and just enjoy dating guilt-free, do it. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the experience of just dating, and know that not every hit is going to be a home run. LifeOnPodcast.com. This is where you can find everything Life on Podcast. You can listen, you can watch, you can play this episode over and over and over and over again, or share it with a friend. Now, if you realize that we're of like minds, you can always go to StoneStafford.com, where we can meld even deeper. And if you're in business and you need a music business coach, look, you don't feel like giving 20% to a manager, you don't have enough money to hire an attorney, all that kind of stuff, just go ahead and schedule a session with me. We'll get you straight, and then we'll help you move on and upward at StoneStafford.com.
I am the remorseful Johnny Vaughn, not to him, but to y'all, because he's not going to let this go. Just Johnny Vaughn, JUSTJONYVAN, wherever you need to find me.
Yeah. 1 million subscribers in 2023. We love y'all. We out. Peace.
So back to what I was saying.